Hey everyone, welcome back to the Life Hack series, and I am talking to you at dusk, just as the light is starting to leave this part of the planet. And this is such a magical time. It's also a time that brings up a lot of our unconscious, unsurfaced fears and shadows. A lot of us have stories and beliefs about light and dark, good and bad, and a lot of us can't see our shadow. It is literally our blind spot. So one of the practices that I learned a very long time ago when I started vision questing and started spending time out on the land was one called making friends with the dark. And that involves sitting out in nature, either as it gets dark or in full dark. So you can adapt this practice to be one of night vigils, where you stay out as the stars start to come up, as they are starting to do now here, and you can see the sun sinking behind me in the west over the mountains, and communing with the forces that come out at night. At nighttime, different animals come out. The trees make different noises because we're focusing on different things because there's no light. So we lose one of our primary senses for most of us, sight. And that can be really disorientating and scary. When was the last time you slept outside? When was the last time you slept outside without a tent? When was the last time you simply sat out in the dark and embrace the fears that come to you? And this doesn't have to be a practice that is done in the wilderness. It can be, it's something that I do to push the edges of my comfort zone quite often. But this can be something that's done in your garden or in a park down the road from you. I mean, obviously, in cities, there's a different kind of safety we need to think about than there is in the wilderness. But it's making friends with your stories about the dark and realizing that often they're unfounded. And often the darkness, just like nature, mirrors back to us what our true stories of safety, comfort, discomfort, fear are. And so unless we actually put ourselves out in the environment that can mirror that back to us, we never know what our stories are. So this week I'm inviting you to embrace the dark and make friends with it in whatever way seems best to you. Tonight I'm going to be sat out here in my garden, I say garden, on the mountainside, watching the stars come up, talking to them, listening for the night creatures as they start to come, and generally meditating in the dark because it's a very different practice to the day. And I'm doing this at dusk, but equally you could do it at dawn. Any time that is dark into light or light into dark is particularly potent. So have fun with this one and see what comes up. And obviously make sure you are safe to a degree physically, but enjoy that feeling of your fears about safety coming up, because they will be a mirror to where you are avoiding your edge right now. And with that, I'm going to talk to the stars. See you again soon.